have existed merely to perform tricks for you, Torvald. I have been your doll wife, just as at home, where I was my father's doll child. And here, the children are my dolls. Hide the Christmas tree carefully, Helen, and be sure that the children don't see until this evening. How much? Oh. There you go. That's fine. Keep the change. Yes. He's in...
Is that my little skylark twittering out there?
Yes, my darling, it is.
Now is that my little squirrel bustling about? Now when did my squirrel come home?
Just now. Come in here, Torvald, and see all these wonderful things I got for Christmas.
Oh, don't disturb me. What did you say? All these things? Has my little spender been wasting money again?
Yes, but Torvald, this year we can really let ourselves go a little. I mean, it is the first Christmas that we've not need to economize.
Still, we can't spend money recklessly.
Yes, but we may be a wee bit more reckless now, mayn't we? Just a tiny wee bit. I mean, you are going to have a big, big salary and earn lots and lots and lots and lots of money soon.
Yes, after the new year. But then it'll be a whole quarter before the salary is due.
We can borrow till then.
Oh, Nora. The same little featherhead. Imagine that I borrowed £50 and you spent it all on Christmas week. And on New Year's Eve, a slate fell on my head and killed me and...
Don't say such horrible things!
But still, what if it were to happen? What then?
Well, I suppose if it were to happen, I don't think I should care whether I owed money or not.
Yes, but what about the people who lent it?
Them? Who would worry about them? I should not know who they were.
That is like a woman. Seriously, Noah. Do you know what I think about that? No debt, no borrowing. There can be no home, beauty or freedom about a home life that depends on borrowing and debt.
Whatever you say, Torvald.
Come. My little skylark does not droop her wings. What is this? Is my little squirrel out of temper? Nora, what do you think I got here?
10 shillings a pound? 2 pounds? Oh, thank you, Torvald. This will keep me going for the longest time.
And indeed it must.
How do you do, Nora?
How do you do?
You don't even recognize me, I suppose.
No, I don't. But yes, I think I might have seen you somewhere before. Christine Lind! Oh, is it really you?
Yes, it is I.
Christine, to think of my not recognizing you. But then again, how could I? How you've altered, Christine.
Yes, I have indeed. In 9, 10 long years.
Has it been so long since we've met? Well, I suppose it is. The last 8 years have been a happy time for me. I can... Oh, my. Poor Christine, do forgive me.
What do you mean, Nora?
Poor Christine. You're... a widow
Yes. It's been 3 years now.
And he left you with absolutely nothing.
No. Nothing at all. Not even any grief or sorrow to live upon.
But Christine, is that really possible?
It does sometimes happen, Nora.
I can't imagine how dreadfully sad that must be for you. I, on the other hand, have 3 lovely children. Now, did you hear that Torvald and I have just had the greatest piece of good luck? Well, my husband's just been made the manager of the bank.
Your husband? What good luck.
I feel so relieved and happy, Christine. It'll be absolutely delightful to have heaps and heaps of money without having any anxiety, won't it?
Yes. Anyhow, I think it would be delightful to have what one needs, but oh, Nora, haven't you learned your sense yet? In our school days, you were a great spendthrift.
That's exactly what Torvald says now. But let me ask you this. Is it true that you didn't love your husband? Why would you marry him then?
Well, my mother was alive then and was bedridden and helpless, and I had to provide for my 2 little brothers. So I did not think I was justified in refusing his offer. He was quite well off, but when he died, his business died with him, and from then on I had to turn my hands on anything I could find. The last 3 years have felt like one long working day with no rest. And now, with my mother gone, I feel my life unspeakably empty, with no one to live for or work for. So I was delighted, not so much on your account as on my own, if I could have the good luck to find a regular office work of some kind.
You mean to say that perhaps Torvald could find you something to do?
Yes, that was what I was thinking of.
He must, Christine. Just leave it to me.
Oh, thank you, Nora. How kind you are to be so anxious to help me. For you know so little of the troubles and burdens of life. Thank you.
You are exactly like all the others. They all think that I'm incapable of doing something that's actually serious. Well, I have yet to tell you the important thing.
Important thing.
You are so proud to think that you saved your brothers' lives. Well, I too have something to be proud of and glad of. It was I who saved Torvald's life. I did. I saved his life.
You saved him. How?
Well, remember that trip to Italy I told you about?
Yes.
Torvald would have died if we hadn't gone.
But your father provided you with all the necessary funds.
No. That is what Torvald thinks. Actually, it's what everybody thinks. But not a single penny from Papa. I found the money. I did.
You? How? So much money.
Yes, all 250 pounds of it. There you are. What do you think of that?
But where on earth would you have gotten all that money from? You couldn't have borrowed it, that's for sure.
Really? Why not?
Because a wife couldn't borrow money without her husband's consent?
Well, what if the the wife knew a little about business, though? What if the wife had some brains? What then?
I don't understand.
There are plenty of ways of getting money, Christine. I never actually said that I borrowed it, now did I? Anyhow, I really think that you should be—
Nora! Do you have any idea the seriousness of what you've done? At all?
In what? In saving Torvald's life?
You know plain well what I'm talking about.
Oh, quite the doll you are, Christine. We'll worry about it when time comes.
Excuse me, Mrs. Helmer.
Mr. Krogstad, what do you want?
Excuse me, the outer door was ajar. I suppose someone forgot to shut it.
My husband is out, Mr. Krogstad.
Yes. I was at Olsen's restaurant and saw your husband walking down the street.
Yes?
With a lady.
What then?
May I make so bold to ask if it was a Miss Lind?
Yes,
It was. And she just arrived in town.
Yes, today.
She is a great friend of yours, isn't she?
She is, but I don't see how this has anything to do with you coming over here.
I knew her too. Once upon a time.
I am aware of that.
Are you? So you know all about it. I thought as much. Then, may I ask without beating about the bush, is Miss Lind supposed to have an appointment at the bank?
What right have you to question me, Mr. Krogstad? You, one of my husband's subordinates. Since you ask, you shall know. Yes, Mrs. Lind is to have an appointment with the bank today.
I was right in what I thought then.
When someone is in a subordinate position, Mr. Krogstad, they should really be careful to avoid offending anyone who has
influence.
Exactly.
Mrs. Helmer, you will be so good and to use your influence on my behalf.
But Mr. Krogstad, I have no influence.
Listen to me, Mrs. Helmer. If necessary, I am prepared to fight for my small post at the bank as if I was fighting for my life.
So it seems. But you must believe me when I say this, Mr. Krogstad. I am in no position to help you at all.
Then it is because you haven't the will. But I have means to compel you.
You don't mean to tell my husband that I owe you money, do you?
Suppose I were to tell him.
We'll do it then. And it will be the worse for you. My husband will see for himself what a blackguard you are, and you certainly won't be keeping your post then.
Mrs. Helmer, either you have a very bad memory, or you know very little of business. I shall be obliged to remind you of a few minor details. See here. Your father died on the 29th of September. But look here. Your father has dated his signature, which, may I also remind you, is not in his handwriting, on the 2nd of October, 3 days after his death. This is a discrepancy. Isn't it, Mrs. Helmer? Can you explain this to me? Mrs. Helmer!
It was I who wrote Papa's name.
Are you aware of your dangerous confession?